Hi guys, my name is Christine, and today I'm talking about a success principle that you don't really hear about that often, especially on YouTube, and on Google. If you type in how to be successful, and it comes up with like 10 steps or something, how to become successful or something like that. This is something that I don't think is emphasized enough. So you hear like things like, oh, like people who are like going to be billionaires or millionaires or something have these certain habits. And one of them is like waking up super early and, things like that. Sometimes people can't really get up earlier, like the 5 a.m. club, for example. It could be like you work a night shift, and you don't get home until like 6 in the morning anyway, and you've been up since like, I don't know, 2 p.m. Since yesterday at 2 p.m. or something like that. So, we all live different lives, and sometimes it can seem like, oh, if people always wake up who are successful at 5 a.m., for an example, I'm just using that one as an example, then you can kind of feel like already a failure out of the gate, because it seems like, oh, all these millionaires do or billionaires do these certain things, and I literally can't do them, so I'm just going to rule myself out, and I'm not going to become a millionaire. I'm never going to, or whatever it is that you may want, like I'm never going to become successful or whatever it is. Now, I'm just using that getting up early at 5 a.m. as an example. There are other ones out there as well, but it all kind of has this kind of like similar vein, where it seems like it's impossible for some people to actually do anyway. Now, of course, if you really, really want to, then you can always, find a way to wake up earlier and things like that. But the main thing that I want to talk to you today is about, taking action and budgeting your time, because I feel like that is one of the ways that you can truly be successful over the long term and do it steadily as well. So you're not kind of burning yourself out. So, budgeting your time. So this, I'm just going to assume that you're a person that already has a job. So let's say you already have a 9 to 5 that you work, every day. Perhaps you're working, 8-hour shifts, perhaps even 12-hour shifts, right? So if you're someone that's already got a job and you want to kind of escape that world and you want to live kind of on your own terms and things like that, but you don't really know how to because you're always so busy with your regular job and of course your other day-to-day life. So really what you need to be thinking about is budgeting your time and just working a little bit each day towards your goal instead of thinking of these grand things. Because usually when it gets to like New Year's, and I talk about this a lot, people make these grand goals, basically like, oh, I'm going to work out an hour a day, or I'm going to make a blog post a day, or I'm going to upload to YouTube every day, or things like that. They have like these grand goals that they're going to do. Like they've got like 10 different social media accounts that they have to post every day on because that's something Gary Vee said or something. They have all these grand ideas, but a lot of it isn't manageable. Like, unless it's your actual full-time job already, then you're not going to have time to do all that stuff, right? So it's better to, if you can, especially if you do have a 9 to 5, to work on things a little bit each day. Like, so let's say giving yourself half an hour or an hour. And it's the same if you're a student. Like, if you're studying, like, in a really complicated course, and it's going to take a number of years for you to complete it. When it comes to your study time, you might only, if you're, in full-time education, and you've got other things that you need to do, then it's going to be very difficult to find find a way to basically get all the stuff done, like get all your studying done. And you hear like a lot about students cramming for like exams the night before, doing their essays the night before. That's something that I did it when I was at university. I would do my essays the night before because I just procrastinated throughout the whole term. And but what's helped me now as someone who uploads to YouTube and things like that, and when I haven't been sick because I've been so ill recently, been so poorly the last 2 weeks, I try to upload to YouTube every day, especially on my other channel, my dating and relationship channel. And basically, I only have a certain amount of time to do these things, right? So I know that if I'm going to stick to my schedule, and I have to stick to my schedule, or it could be the case that I've got a busy week anyway because I've got clients who have paid for coaching with me, then I know that I only have a certain amount of time to do other things, right? So sometimes it's a case of prioritizing what's most important. So for me, most importantly is my clients. They always come first. That always comes first before any YouTube video or anything like that, because they've paid for my services basically, and I have to give them priority. But you have to give yourself, if you're a student, or if you've got a business that you're trying to work towards, that you're trying to become financially independent or whatever it is, you have to give yourself like half an hour or just an hour a day if you're super, super busy to work on these things. So, for a student, I would say to them, if they've struggled with studying in the past, then, doing half an hour to an hour of studying is a lot better than nothing, because I feel like, again, like a lot of students have these grand ideas like, oh yeah, I'm going to study for 3 hours a day and things like that after I get home. That's okay if that's something that you've already done consistently, but if you haven't been able to do that in the past, then it's better to just stick to half an hour to an hour, and perhaps even just prioritizing the things that you need help with, that you need extra study time with, because there might be some things in your college degree or whatever it may be, that you're already quite familiar with, but there might be other parts that you're struggling with, and you know that you're struggling with, so therefore you need to focus on that, because that's what's going to help you. Because if you already know the other stuff, then that's great. You don't need to go over that as much. You probably do need to go over it, but not as much. So it's better then to just go over the bits that you definitely need to ingrain in your brain, that you keep on forgetting, that you're having trouble with, and just budgeting it. And then if you just, let's say, give yourself a schedule for like during the week, let's say Monday to Friday for an hour or half an hour, I'm going to study. Or if it's your business, I'm going to work on my business. Once the weekend comes and you've done everything on your to-do list basically, and you've done that extra bit of studying, you can go out, you can do your usual routine, you go out and see your friends, whatever it may be, go and see family, with guilt free basically, because you have worked a little bit towards those things that you need to do. And it's kind of sucks sometimes, because you feel like, oh my god, I'm really tired, or I've got all these other things that I need to do, or I just don't want to do it right now because I just feel tired, or I've been through an argument with someone and I feel really frustrated and I can't concentrate, things like that. It can be really frustrating on days like that. But try not to miss that half an hour or an hour to whatever it is that you need to work on, right? Because it's going to make you feel so much better. Because if you don't, then you're just going to feel bad about yourself when it comes to the weekend, and you feel like, oh no, I should have really done this on Thursday, or I should have done this on Friday, but I didn't. And you're just thinking it over and over again. Because that's how I used to be, especially when I was at university. I used to think, oh, I wish I'd just spent some time studying. I wish I'd just spent some time doing that. But I didn't. I just didn't do it. I just went out with my friends, or I just played video games or something. Now that I'm, obviously older and wiser, right? That I don't do that kind of stuff anymore. I tend to stick to my schedule unless I'm really, really sick and I literally can't, which is what the case has been the last couple of weeks. But typically, I get stuff done as, in order of importance, and I get stuff done as quickly as possible, and as efficiently as possible to the best of my ability, because I know that that's how you succeed, right? And this is what people should be putting more emphasis on when they're writing these articles or making YouTube videos on success principles. It doesn't matter what time of day you get up, right? You don't have to get up at 5 a.m. Although I do think there are some benefits to doing stuff like that, definitely. Like if you can do that, then definitely do that, because, you have more, it's more quiet, basically. Everyone else is asleep. You get to do, you get to work on things, you get to exercise, whatever it may be, because a lot of people wake up at 5 a.m. to exercise, which is great for them if they can do it. But a lot of other people can't do that because that's not what their schedule permits, because they're already still working at that time, or they got in at 3 a.m. anyway from their night shift or something. Like, you don't know. The best success principle is to just budget your time and work towards your goals a little bit every day, even if it's just Monday to Friday, because obviously you do need a break sometimes on, Saturday and Sunday, or whatever it is that your schedule is, right? But having like a good 5 days of the week where you're working towards it, at least an hour a day, is going to really, really help and benefit you. Even if it's just like reading, like if you're studying and stuff like that. But if you've got a business, it could be writing a blog post, it could be uploading a video to YouTube, Or it could be editing a video for YouTube. If you don't upload daily, it could be like you might upload every week, and it might be the same for your blog. You might upload every week or something, but you're working towards it, right? You're writing up that article, you're creating that video, or you're editing that video. So just finding a little bit of time so you can just kind of chip away. I know it's kind of like a lot of people are like Veruca Salt, and they're like, I want it now, and I want to do all these things now. And what happens then is those people tend to burn out. So you do too much and then you burn out and things like that. And I've definitely been in that position myself where I'm just put too much on my plate. But if you just put a sizable amount on your plate and just work away at it, that's going to be a lot more effective for you. Remember the story of the tortoise and the hare, where the tortoise wins the race because the hare is just being really careless and rushing off. But the tortoise is going steadily and it keeps on going. And sometimes the best races are won by those people that have been more steady and methodical and just budgeted their time a little bit and worked at something over time, even if it's just a little bit every day. And I feel like there's a great benefit to that, and you will get lots of success if you do that. And of course, another bonus thing for becoming successful is simply creating something that is useful. Right? Because if you're creating something that is useful and is going to be a benefit to other people, then it will be bought. Your service will be bought. Your idea will be bought. So, thinking of something that is truly useful to humanity, that humanity needs, is going to really benefit them, right? So it might not be something completely 100% original, like if you've got a YouTube channel or something. Like there's billions, well, not billions, but there's millions of YouTube channels out there. Right? So if there's already millions of YouTube channels, then, and you've got an idea about it, so perhaps you want to make one on like the law of attraction, or you want to do one like mine where it's like talking about success principles and how to be successful and personal development and stuff. If you want to make a channel like that, obviously there are loads of channels about that kind of thing. But the great thing about YouTube is that you can always bring your unique perspective. You can always bring yourself basically to what you're doing. And of course, sometimes the greatest selling point is actually yourself, in the way that you personally do things, because no one can do you better than you, right? You can talk about the same kinds of things as other people on YouTube, but no one's going to have that spin that you are quite putting on it, which is going to make you unique. So of course you have to find that, you have to really be yourself in your videos basically, if you're doing that sort of thing. So that's kind of the ideas that I have for you on how to be truly successful. First of all, budgeting your time, cracking down on it, giving yourself a little bit of time every day to work towards whatever it is that you need to do. And of course, whatever it is that you are doing, if you want to be successful, make sure that it's useful. If you're creating basically useful products that humanity needs, you're always going to be wanted. Your products are always going to be bought, whatever they may be. Even if it's just, selling yourself in some sort of way, like selling your personality on something like YouTube or on a blog, because there is only one you, and that is your most unique selling point. So I hope this video has helped you. I hope it's been informative. I hope you found it interesting. If there's anything else you'd like me to discuss in a video, then please leave it down in the comments, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.